Spooky. And there are actually some scary stories to get to this morning. So Global News reporting yesterday, StatsCan scooped up 15 years of personal financial data from Canadian Credit Bureau. Global News has learned the agency has scooped up 15 years worth of credit rating information from a major international credit bureau, which could include millions of Canadians. The data harvest was done without consent or knowledge of those Canadians whose credit history was passed on to Stats Canada. Statistics Canada, which has broad powers to compel any organization to turn over data that organization collects, directed the credit bureau TransUnion of Canada, based in Burlington, Ontario, to provide social insurance numbers, names, addresses, dates of birth, and detailed credit information, including balances owed, balances overdue, and more than 30 other fields or categories of data. The request occurred in October 2017 and more recently in January 2018. So if you were using a credit card then, it's possible that StatsCan already has your information. So I went to TransUnion website, and I think this is their website. The Google machine said so, and it's down. Page not working. Not working at all. So it's given me an error. And but I found it in the wayback machine. So this is the same one, transunion.com. And they've got a handy contact us. So if you want to contact them, link will be in the description, the Wayback Machine link, not the TransUnion failed link. And there's a handy, well, this is their information page, and this is the government page. So they've got, and I thought it was interesting they had US flags, but it is an international company. So I'm sure that if you changed to Canada, things would change. But we're on the Wayback Machine, so it doesn't have all of the information. So yeah, TransUnion's not working. So they're in trouble, TransUnion. And I think this Trudeau government is in trouble. Despite the fact that Stats Canada has the legal power to do this, it's never been publicly debated. It's never been tested in law. Nobody's had a charter challenge against this. It is our private data. Everybody recognizes that financial data is private data. It's the most private data you could possibly have. Well, other than, I don't know what could be more private other than maybe your browser history, maybe. But your financial data gives a really good overview of who you are, where you spend your time, where you spend your money. That's massive. That's huge. So Maxime Bernier is weighing in on this as well yesterday. But this was before this report was published. So this is on the other StatsCan report, the fact that Trudeau is supporting Stats Canada, just collecting the bare bank records of 500,000 Canadians. So if you don't have a credit card, they want to make sure that you're included in their database too. Okay, so Maxime Bernier, Lily, quote, Lily, if you need to seize the banking records of Canadians without their knowledge or consent to better design government programs, maybe you've gone too far. Maybe your vision of government is a bit too Big Brother. And a link to the Toronto Star article talking about the end of privacy. So yeah, StatsCan is legally compelled, the banks are legally compelled by StatsCan to hand over the data. And currently, as I said, majority government, and this is all above board and legal. So if they want to build a big database of where we all spend our money and spend our time and et cetera, they're going to do it. And what are they going to do with that data after? Lose it? Give it to Google and Twitter to help them better understand their human subjects? I'm not sure. I don't know what their plan is, but I don't know why they need all of this data. And as Maxime and Brian Lilly say, if you need it to design better government programs, maybe you've gone too far. Maybe you've gone way, way too far. On not going far enough, the CBC News was reporting yesterday that New Brunswick Power to dodge major carbon taxes after Ottawa proposes looser rules on coal plants. Well, in a climate policy retreat over the treatment of coal, federal Liberals are proposing to loosen emission standards for power plants that burn the fuel, effectively lowering carbon taxes on each ton of greenhouse gas released from coal burning stations like New Brunswick's Power Belledune next year to less than $1. But it also undermines the federal claims made as recently as last week that major greenhouse gas polluters like Belledune would pay the most under Canadians' new carbon pricing scheme. Federal Environment Minister Catherine McKenna's office explained a federal commitment to ban coal generating stations in 2030 makes heavy carbon taxes on coal unnecessary given the costs it would impose on electricity consumers. The proposed exemption for coal is so large that it will eliminate most of the carbon taxes New Brunswick's biggest greenhouse gas emitter, New Brunswick Power, was warned it would be facing just 6 months ago. It would also allow it to continue releasing most of the greenhouse gases it currently produces at its coal-fired generating station in Beldon for free. So, yeah, we don't want this policy to be really unpopular by increasing the electricity rates like they did in Ontario. So yeah, we're gonna exempt the biggest polluters, but all you small businesses and all you regular everyday people, you guys are paying the full amount. You guys have to pay the full carbon tax to save the world. But this coal-fired power plant that will put in a lot more CO2 than your little car, they don't have to pay because we want to get into power. We want to stay in power. That's the whole deal, right? Yeah. So yeah, the liberals, front-facing, this is a tax to save the world, or a tax on pollution, or a tax even on carbon, is just collapsing. This is just a tax on Canadians and Canadian small businesses to, I don't know, break us? Because we don't give you enough of our money? How many months of the year do you work to give all of that money to the government? If you make $80,000, you're sending $36,000 of those dollars to the government. What are you getting for that? Why? Somebody mentioned that we have legally 5 years to pay taxes. Maybe we should all stop paying taxes until 2020, with full intentions to pay taxes when the government starts using our tax dollars for something intelligent. Yeah? I think I'm giving enough tax dollars directly. That GST is just insulting. It was originally meant to pay down a debt, and now it's just a tax that Canada has. Great. Anyway, I've gotten off track. The NDP wants to ban Steve Bannon. I think that's interesting. This is a departure, and not a departure for the NDP, but up until now, it's only been groups at universities or universities themselves bowing to other groups for banning speech. Now we've got a government, like an actual sitting government, saying, no, this should be canceled because he's a provocateur. So I don't think so. I think all speech should be acceptable. And if your speech is abhorrent, then people will stop listening. Like, people will say, no, you've gone too far. Just like people need to start telling these crazy communist leftists they've gone too far. It's too far. Socialism has killed 100 million people in the 20th century. Please look it up. It's a bad idea. I don't want to vote socialists in, because every time this happens, it ends up with people dead, a lot of people dead. We don't need that. We've got a great system. Capitalism works. We shouldn't be banning speech. Governments shouldn't be banning people because they're too scary. Their ideas are too provocative. Get real. We need to have debates that offend people. Without offending people, we're not actually having a debate. We're just talking and agreeing with each other. So, finally, I found this interesting. Everything you wanted to know about Say Halloween. Yes. The song is 32 years old. It was written in 1981. That was my birth year. It was written in Halifax by a teacher, and he wrote it the day before Halloween. So pretty cool. Anyway, happy Halloween, everybody. Stay safe out there. And follow up with your MP. Let them know that you don't want your personal information accessed by the government to build a database for, who knows what. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Pendant l'Halloween, tu peux être ce que tu